What is up, everybody? What is going on? This is a good Sunday, man. First of all, I'm nice. So if if the show doesn't quite flow the way it normally does, don't y'all judge me, okay? Because today is definitely one of those Sundays that I didn't think it would end up the way that it ended up, but it did, and I'm thoroughly impressed, and I'm just happy to be a Bills fan today, man. Like, so the Buffalo Bills defeated the Seattle Seahawks 44-34. And it, to be honest, wasn't close the entire time. I get it that it was 10 points that the game ended up being the difference, but it wasn't close the entire game. And this is one of those games where it makes you say, okay, all the stuff I've been complaining about was wrong. Although the Bills didn't have like the most phenomenal day, granted, so I'm looking at the stats here. So Russell Wilson had 390 yards passing on 41 attempts. He had 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. But guess what? DK Metcalf having the boss day that he did of 108 yards on 7 receptions. That's awesome. But guess what? The Bills won, man, and it wasn't close. It wasn't close. Josh Allen did everything that I expected or that I needed him to do on 38 attempts, 31 completions, 415 yards passing, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, like, what can you say bad about Josh Allen? Tell me, what can you say bad about Josh Allen and his performance today? The defense, yeah. I just talked about Russell Wilson's stats. Like I said, he threw for 390 yards. Rushing, the most yards for one player was 31 yards on 7 attempts. I can't complain about our rush defense. I can't complain about, some people will talk about, oh, well, Trey White gave up a pass here to DK Metcalf, and he gave up this and he gave up that. Guess what? Every once in a while, when you're playing against guys like Russell Wilson, every once in a while when you're playing against, for the years past, when we're playing against, Tom Brady before and Aaron Rodgers and all these other guys, you're going to have games where guys just throw for 390 yards on you. But your job is to make sure that they don't score more. And today our defense did a very good job. Very good job. Outside of DK Metcalf and David Moore, I can't be upset about what the defense did to the receivers. I definitely can't be upset about the rushing defense. My man David says, Josh did everything we knew he could do. That's my quarterback. Listen, I'm with you 100%, man. Like, I came into this today, I came into this game thinking that we weren't going to do everything that we needed to do. They proved me wrong. I am so happy that they proved me wrong. My man Anthony says, only negative comment about Allen would be he needs to recognize the blitz and get ball out of hands quicker. 7 sacks is a lot. You are completely accurate about that statement. So if I am going to nitpick and have a negative comment about today's game, it would be way too many sacks. We definitely need to protect our quarterback. But on the flip, here's the thing. We're without our starting center. We had a couple injuries to our offensive line today. So when you look at the fact that we had guys out and we had guys get injured during the game, I'm still okay with the way this game played out. And then you look at the statistics for the Buffalo Bills, man. We didn't show up in our running game. Again, we didn't. But John Brown had 99 yards. Gabriel Davis has 70 yards. Stephon Diggs had 118 yards. Man, this is the way the game is supposed to look to me as a Bills fan. So imagine if we had fans at this game. Stadium would have been nuts. Man, can you imagine? I posted a picture during I think it was like the late third quarter, early fourth quarter, and I'm like, I wish I could be right here, right now. The energy that I felt through the television with that game, the Bills leading the Seahawks for the bulk of the game, you can't tell me that if we were able to have fans at that stadium for this game, man, it would have been jumping. I'm actually shocked. Why wasn't this game flexed? Why weren't we playing tonight? I'm not, like I told you, I'm a little I'm a little nice right now. So I don't quite know exactly who's playing tonight, but I feel like it's a better game than whatever's coming on tonight. So please, somebody tell me what the game is tonight. My man Joe Miller, my bestie, said it wasn't all on Josh. At some point, Knox and the fellas need to make their blocks. What am I missing? What just happened? Okay, I don't know what I'm missing. Maybe I need to send Joe the link so he can jump in and tell me what he's thinking. So just so you guys know, I sent a couple links out. I sent it out to Danielle from Rumblings. I sent it out to the whole crew over there at Circling the Wagons. That podcast. Sent it out to my man Sturls. And Mookie is going to be joining me soon, like he does every Sunday. So I have a couple links out there. We're going to really get into it today and have some fun. I want today to be about celebration. I don't want to jump into it and nitpick and be negative. That's why I sent the link out to a few different people. Allison also got the link, and I also sent it to my man Carlos. And like I said, Mookie will be joining me, and Anthony got the link as well. So hopefully Anthony can jump in. Okay, so Joe was talking about the sacks on Josh. No, I can't put it all on Josh. You're right. A 1,000,000%. We can't put it all on Josh. But the problem is, at some point, you also need to start throwing that ball away. But he didn't have time today. So I'm not nitpicking at all, Joe. Today, listen, we won this game. I want to celebrate. I want to celebrate. Before we because I feel like Mookie's gonna hop in here any second now. Before we do me a favor and jump on that like button. Hit the like button on YouTube. If you're on I'm saying Netflix. I told you guys I'm not good. If you guys are on YouTube, hit the like. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. If you're on Facebook, same thing. Like it for me. We're gonna get a couple people jumped in here, and we're gonna talk about the game. Listen, another thing that I'm very impressed with is the defense. The defense of the game, or the Buffalo Bills. I know Trey gave up a big play in that first half against DK Metcalf, but listen, 2 interceptions against Russell Wilson. Last week, I made the claim on Hump Day Hotline with Joe, and then a couple other times. What is Joe talking about, man? Like he's whoops. But last week, I made the claim that Russell Wilson doesn't throw multiple interceptions week after week. He doesn't do things week after week like this. Listen, our defense put the pressure on. We made him throw 2 interceptions. We made, our defense showed up big. We were huge tonight. That doesn't happen. So I give all the credit in the world to our defense. I give all the credit in the world to Sean McDermott and to our defensive coordinator. Listen, it was a game, man. It was a game. I'm very excited. So throw me some questions, man. I'm waiting for my man Mookie. Jason says that O-line was willing to die for Allen today. They were. The thing is, I would love to see how it looks healthy with Feliciano. So knowing that obviously Mitch Morse was injured today, knowing that he has the head injury, it's a little bit tough to really figure out what our offensive line is when we're talking about a team that you can't quite tell, what we would be if we were healthy. I'm still I'm a little disappointed that we let go of our guy. And I'm sorry, I'm trying to read everything, man. I need Mookie or Joe, somebody to jump in real quick. Today is one of those days. I'm going to need some help. Yeah. Gene says he totally agrees that health is key on both sides. That's the thing. So I saw somebody kind of jump on, I can't remember which reporter or which beat reporter that said it the other day, that one of the things that's impressive about this Bills team is that although we had some injuries going into this game and we had some tough, some guys that weren't going to be able to play, we also had some issues when it came down to the fact that, look, it's not long-term injuries. So those issues that you're looking at week to week, and we're looking at these injuries where Matt Milano's not playing, now he's on injured reserve. But we got a lot of guys playing that or not playing this week or last week who didn't make injured reserve. So the thing is, the Bills can still be healthy when it comes down to these games that we really are scared about. And I was scared of this game. I was absolutely nervous about this game 100%. This was not a game that I thought that the Bills would pull out. And they made me look dumb. I picked them because my heart wouldn't let me pick against them. But, man, health is key. Says we blitzed more today than we blitzed all year and knocked Wilson down 16 times. We had him rattled. And Wilson absolutely, he looked like a quarterback that just wasn't in control of every aspect of the game like he normally is. And the thing is, when I look at Russell Wilson, I love Russell Wilson. I talk about how much I would rather have him than another quarterback. He's the only quarterback in the league that I would trade Josh Allen for. Nobody else in the league would I trade Josh for. But Russell Wilson played the heck out of. He's normally the best quarterback. Today he looked rattled. I agree with you 100%. Our defense did our thing. We sent blitz from different areas. The front four didn't do what we kind of, in a perfect world, our front four would just bring the pressure, would do what we got to do, and that way we get those interceptions. We were able to do that today by sending blitz and doing different things that we haven't been doing. This is the type of defense that I expected the Bills to play when we played against the Chiefs and when we played against the Texans or the Titans. When you just don't try and make things look difficult or exotic for the other team, they'll run all on you and throw all over you. That's what normally happens. Today, I was completely impressed with our rush defense. I was completely impressed with our pass defense, even though we gave up those yards. So I'm happy. I'm happy. My man Lamar, they said this would be the game to win, to be taken seriously. They're going to continue to say that every week. I think that's part of the reason, or that's part of the thing that's difficult about being a Bills fan, is that every time you feel like it's a victory that we're supposed to have, it's still not going to be enough. Um, my man Pierre from Buffalo Fanatics had a post that came up the other day, and he was talking about how, um, as content creators, one of the things is that we push the agenda and we push the narrative that the Bills aren't quite doing enough. But in reality, first, he's right by that. We do push that narrative. But in reality, what you're saying, Lamar, is that, you know, we still have to prove it, man. And today was one of those games where I feel like we proved it. Let's see if the media turns around and says, you know what, this was a game that the Bills needed to win. That would show us that the Bills are legit. That'll show us that the Bills are doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. And they did. Josh looked like the quarterback I needed him to look like today. He definitely did. West Coast team in an early start helped us. Glad we didn't get flexed. I mean, I can see why that would be something that you would feel like is a benefit for us. That's been a statistic that's been used about teams from the West coming to the East multiple times. I don't feel like that. I don't think that really played the difference. I think that the Bills actually showed up and did what they had to do today. Got my man Mook. What's up, Mook?
What's up? What's up?
Hey, my dog, man. I can't say nothing today.
I was waiting to see. Like, I know you had something loaded up for something juicy for me today.
No. Normally, I'm like, but the defense didn't do. Look, Russell Wilson had 390 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. DJ Metcalf had DJ Metcalf had 108 yards receiving on 9 targets. He had 7 receptions and a touchdown. I'm okay with that. I feel like this game, we were in charge the entire game.
Right.
Even when they scored, even when it felt like, oh, okay, Russell Wilson is doing Russell Wilson things, the Bills were still in control. We didn't allow them to kind of come back and push that lead forward. I can't say nothing. The Russian defense was great. Let me see. The most yards today, DJ Dallas had 31 yards on 7 carries. Travis Homer had 16 yards on 6 carries, and Russell Wilson had 5 yards on 2 carries. Yeah. I can't talk about nothing, man. I can't say nothing. What do you feel?
This is what everybody's been waiting on. This is what everybody's been waiting on. Like, this is the expectation was met today. All right. Now, can it be consistent? That's the question. Bills have shown flashes, in certain weeks, the defense has joined the party. And, last year, that's all, everybody wanted was the offense to do, because the defense was basically holding it down for the past 2-3 years. So today you saw, what the defense could do when they're playing at their highest level. And, to reciprocate when the offense is playing, when the Bills are playing at a high level, offense, defense, special teams, this is what you're going to see on the week to weeks. This is something that the Bills fans has been waiting to see. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll introduce to you the 2020 Buffalo Bills.
Well, I
If
mean,
you
well,
can keep up
finally.
with this,
Well, damn it, finally. You know what I mean? Like this is this is what I've been waiting on. Now, so for those who have been confused about when I say like I just need to see us dominate, I need to see us win. The score isn't as important. When I've made those statements, so today it doesn't quite look like if you just look at the score, yeah, 44-34. Oh, they scored 34 points. It might not look like a dominating performance when you just look at the score. The Bills dominated that game.
oh yeah,
And
absolutely.
this was one of those games. This is how I felt like we should have looked against the Jets. This is how I felt like we should have looked against the Patriots. So now we do it against a team that you almost feel like going into this week. I almost thought we probably won't look like this, and now we do. So
Yeah.
what's your take on that? Like it seems like we play down to our talent, or we don't actually um, the teams that it feels like we're supposed to blow out completely, we don't. But then we come into these games against the guys like this, and it's like, okay, now the Bills look like what they're supposed to look like. What do you feel about that?
Well, he always did that. That was how the Bills always play down to the level of their competition. They've been, Bills been known for that for years. Just when you least expect it. This is why everybody was saying that the Bills was going to win this game anyway, due to that fact. It's like for the past couple of years, even since McDermott has been at the helm, he always talked about one, changing the culture. He's done that. Two, playoff caliber. They did that 2 out of the last 3 years. Been there, done that. So what's next is they realistically optimistic at the same time. They don't want to talk about Super Bowls. Let's just concentrate on focusing on winning the division and having the opportunity to play a playoff game here at home. You know what I mean? So they just, trying to be realistic at the approach, not get too high, don't get too low with it. And I've learned to do that. Just being around them and just know how they operate things. But yeah, you're right. You want to see this team, if the Bills are going to say that they're one of the elite teams or they're a legitimate contender, you have to go out there and impose your will on a contending team. You can't go out there and try to impose your will on anything less if, I mean, what could have been if they played this way against Kansas City? If they played this way against Tennessee? You know what I mean? Today was the day that I say, you know what, it's beyond that. The Bills just really got to go out there and enforce their will on this team. They don't care on what they've doing, or what their record is, and who they are, what they accomplished, and in the past. You know what I mean? Let's go out there and let's just be aggressive from start to finish, impose our will on this team, and see what's the outcome. I like this outcome better than, the other two, Tennessee and Kansas City approaches defensively. You seen how you really supposed to play AJ Klein. How about AJ Klein today?
Look at
You know
AJ
what I
Klein.
mean?
He out here damn near looking like the defensive player of the week when you play him, right?
Oh,
He
I think
looked
he is.
like a pretty good player.
It's
So
either him and Jerry Hughes, depending on what the hell's going on out there in the AFC. You know what I mean? But those two definitely got my vote. AJ Klein definitely got my vote because here's a guy that's been taking a
listen,
lot of flack.
I'm voting for AJ Klein, but before we go into that comment, my man Kenny says Seattle was 8-0 last 8 East Coast games before today. And I bring that up because right before you hopped in, somebody made a comment that a West Coast team coming to the East Coast is difficult. And I'm like, I don't want to take the credit away from my guys as if they didn't play a hell of a game. So when I look at that and I look at that stat, Russell Wilson does Russell Wilson things on the East Coast. He does it on the West Coast. He do it Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, wherever you want to be. Russell Wilson gonna do Russell Wilson things. So the Buffalo Bills played a heck of a game today, defensively, offensively. So now fast forwarding back to what we were talking about, man, you're right. Like I really don't have no beef. I can't. And normally I'd be like, nah, Mook, I ain't got nothing for you, man.
Well, there's some things to talk about. I mean, even Josh said it himself after the game. You know what I mean? There's still a lot of meat that was left on the bone, he feels, and there's some ways of improvement that you do. They didn't have a flawless game, but damn, you're 31 for 38. You throw for another 400 yards, not 300 yards, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. All right, against Russell Wilson. Okay, nobody's not talking about that, but he still did overthrow on Stephon Diggs. He still,
Mm-hmm.
it still was some situations. It's a few things. It's a few things, but all in all, he did a fantastic job. I think sometimes you was like, well, damn, just run. He would still refuse to run. He hung in there and try to make that, try to make that throw. And that's where you see Josh as evolved as a player. You know what I mean? 9 times out of 10, he would have been tucked that thing and ran it. You know what I mean? But now he's trusting his guys out there on the floor. He's trusting the scheme, and he's making plays.
Well, my man Floyd just says, so what are your thoughts on Dayball? Great win, which Diggs got a touchdown. But it's a good question because it seems like every week when the Bills don't quite perform where Josh is throwing for 350 or 400, Bills fans normally are like, yo, man, Dayball still isn't doing. I personally feel like Dayball has been a great offensive coordinator this season. I do. What are your thoughts on the way he called this game today? How do you feel like, obviously, Josh played a very good game. What are your thoughts today on the offense and the way we conducted ourselves, especially second half? Coming out second half, normally that's our Achilles heel. So what are your thoughts coming out the second half and how the way the game turned out offensively?
Well, yeah, I mean, I still didn't get a chance to clean up that question about what was it, Nickerson, I think, about the West Coast, East Coast thing. Some of that stuff do come into play, but it don't come in it all the time because guess what? The Bills went out to Las Vegas. They had to play out there. You know what I mean? And they won out there. So, I mean, to each his own with that. The Rams did fly to Miami and lost that how they lost it. You know what I mean? But, sometimes that do play a factor. But I don't think it had anything to do with it. Bills' mindset today was just go and just destroy. You know what I mean? It was just a destroy mission from the jump today with the Bills. I don't think Seattle saw it coming, to be quite honest. Offensively, Dable, he's still learning. You know what I mean? He's still learning much better than last year. I would like to see. I love to see Singletary get sweeps. If we're going to run Zach Moss, this offense is really like patternized for Zach right now in the run game. So if you're going to use motor, let him get to the outside. Let him pick his hole. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Give him a damn sweep. They finally gave him a little pitch. I don't know what that was, little pitch, but get under center and just get that man a sweep. You know what I mean? But other than that, this offense is going to go through the air. I'm just going to let y'all know that. Eric Allen, however y'all want to nickname it, saute it, freaking see it. With the additions, with the acquisition of Stephon Diggs, should have told everybody that. Everybody was going wondering, like, oh, how Sauce going to survive? How John Brown going to eat? They got Diggs now. No, that just upped the ante for Josh's targets. He's throwing, he's going to throw for 40 times. You expect for us to throw 40 times a game. They was doing it last year, throwing 40 times a game. So, expect that consistently. They're going to throw for 40 times unless, we get this bad weather game like we had last week. But I think all in all, the offense is progressing. They still dealing with injuries and stuff like that comes into play. When you're trying to, gel and build chemistry within your offense, every player is needed. Every player out there is important. You even saw today a few linemen go down, and then all of a sudden Seattle starts sitting in the house in the second half. But the Bills adjusted and, they railed their case. I still got to see what's up with him in this red zone. Like, why is you doing gadget plays on the one instead of just running Zach Moss right there? Like, you could have changed the complexity of a football game right there. Instead of getting 7, you got 3. And then all of a sudden Seattle made a little run and crawled back into the game based upon that play calling. You know what I mean? Like, certain play calling, it is what it is, man. Get a hat on a hat for that 1 yard and just score. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be over coaching right there. You know what I mean? You got to stop over coaching right there.
My man Justin says such a better strategy scoring points rather than forcing the run game and trying to run down the clock.
Right.
So the thing is, normally I'm one of the guys that say, okay, we should run the clock out, but we normally don't have a successful running game to do so. So today felt refreshing that it seemed like the Buffalo Bills were still aggressive. They didn't take their foot off the gas.
Right.
And they were like, you know what? Forget this. We're going to do what we got to do, and we're going to win this damn game. And we did it, man. Like, this is the first week. I'm telling, don't get used to this, Mook. Like, I'm telling you, because normally I'm gonna have something to be like, well, but what about this? So let me ask you this, because I didn't get a chance to watch. I went and watched the game at a friend's house. So on my way home, I didn't get to watch to see if there were any post-game interviews and anything like that. Anything special that was talked about that you kind of want to jump and talk about real quick?
Well, I mean, everything is learning that Josh grandmother's passed away. Right before the game, and he opted to play. I mean, we didn't get that until late, as you can see. So for him to go out there and play the way he played, what I mean, we know Grandma was definitely out there waiting today, and he played his ass off. But other than that, the defense is just ecstatic, man. They was in there, barking a little bit. Poyer is having an all-pro season. Tremaine Edmonds, finally showed his all-pro status as well today.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a testament. Just got to be aggressive. We said this plenty of times. How many times me and you talked about? Man, you got to You got to keep AJ Klein aggressive. You might as well blitz him. And Coach Frazier figured it out. I mean, it was just sending him. I mean, they
And
was
he
just getting
did it.
off. Russell
Yeah.
Wilson didn't even know that he was coming. You know what I mean? That they was sending him so bad. Like, so he was making plays. That's how you got to play these players. That's how you play Klein. You can't have him passive. He is just too much space for him. You know what I mean? And he's not fast enough to hang on to these running backs. So if he's going to be out there, keep him aggressive as your blitzer. That's how you use it. That's how they use Lorenzo Alexander. But Lorenzo was a little bit more better in coverage. But they did send Lorenzo at will. And, you see the results. Just go back and look at the tape. When the Bills defense is aggressive, when the Bills defense is getting pressure, I mean, they win the game. You know what I mean? They definitely win the game. They didn't do that against Tennessee. They didn't do that against Kansas City. Go back to those games and see how many times they blitzed. The Bills really is not a blitzing team schematically wise, but
Mm-hmm.
you might have to change that scheme because this is what's winning ball games for you. This is what makes games at ease for you when your defense is playing aggressive. You can't have an aggressive offense and then a passive defense. That just don't work.
I would like to see it like all click though. Like, and I get it. Like, it's rare that you'll see like every phase of your team. So defense, offense, special team. First of all, can we talk about special teams? What the hell? Like, I was gonna say something different, but I know we're on a show that probably will have kids listening. Dude, over the summer, people kept telling me that Andre Roberts needed to be cut and released from this team. What the entire what in the hell is anybody watching that will make them think that Andre Roberts should not be a valued member of this Buffalo Bills football team? That dude is amazing.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's the same way that people talk about Josh Allen. Oh, he hasn't thrown for 300 yards. Oh, he doesn't throw for 6. But you heard all this last year about him. Well, we don't hear that no more about Josh. And the same thing is about Andre Roberts. And then I don't understand, how could you cut a Pro Bowler? You don't cut a Pro Bowler. You know what I mean? And the thing about Andre Roberts and how valuable he is, first of all, he's a very disciplined guy. He's from military, so he's very disciplined. Okay, and one thing about him that Coach McDermott loves is, hey, field position. He's not going to hurt you trying to receive a kick, turning a punt over. Right? He's very sure-handed on field position. He's going to make the right decisions out there, for the team. And McDermott trusts him. All right, even when he pulls it out, bring it out. McDermott trusts him because, hey, he set the tone today with that nice 60-yard, kickoff return. That caught a lot of people out guard. That let me know right then and there what type of game it was going to be. They were aggressive. They set the tone being aggressive. They start off with a short field. You know what I mean? That all 3 phases of the game clicking right there. How come they can't do that next week? You know what I mean? Or where has this been? Like, I understand you don't want to do it too much because team get film on you, but so what? You know what I mean? So what? You gotta stop it still.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna outthink it for you. You know what I mean? No, I ain't gonna run this because they saw that last week. I ain't gonna. You gotta stop it too. You know what I mean? Hey, it's coaching. So, good job on coaching this week. You know what I mean? From top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. It's just still some things to clean up. The run game is going to come, but this thing is going through the pass game, baby. All right. It's too much money invested in the passing right now. Mm-hmm. That's why you pass it. Look how much money Stephon Diggs made. How much smoke Beasley made. Okay. And then you got to pay your quarterback next to that. All right. So the passing game, Stamula. All right.
Well, but here's the thing. we've gone so many years where we've had somewhat of an incompetent passing game, or we had like a non-existent passing game when it comes to when you compare them. When you compare the passing game to the passing game of other teams throughout the league, the Bills just didn't have anything on par. You get what I'm saying? So it's like now you're finally starting to see like, oh, the Bills can do this whenever they feel like it, and Josh is going up and down the field whenever he feels like it. I'm not mad that the running game isn't looking like what we're used to, because normally all we had was the run game.
Mhm.
Man, I will gladly take a quarterback throwing for 400 yards. Please give me that. That's exciting.
You know, I mean, everybody just waiting for this to be a fluke or this stuff to stop. Listen, when teams don't play back, Josh is going to kill you. All right, that's the thing about it that they don't understand or don't believe. Play back, and then it is what it is. He still can throw for 300 yards and still be efficient. He proved that versus the Jets. But you want to play him honest? I don't think teams will want to do that. So it's surgery, man, with a chainsaw out there with him. I mean, when you play regular, when you don't respect Josh Allen, this is what you're gonna get. Not 300, 400. You're gonna get
400.
400 messing around.
Sound like my man 2 Chain. 400,
400.
300, 400, 450, 400.
400.
My man Daniel says Roberts is having another Pro Bowl year. Absolutely worth his roster spot every day or all day, every day.
But he did get cut.
He did, and they brought him back, and he kept his promise to say, you know what, I'm not going to sign with another team. I'm going to stick with you guys. Right. I think that says a lot.
Yeah, the guy's on the end of his career. He see where the team is heading. He want to be a part of that. Nobody want to go somewhere and meet new people and try to. No, he ain't got time for that. This is it for him. He's liable to coach. You know what I mean? After this, with the Bills. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. That's a sign of a good organization when you come from winning stock, and players get played here. They take care of their own. And then, hey, you might see a few coaches coming out of this roster soon. You know what I mean? Never know.
Well, I do feel like I said in the offseason, and I'm gonna stick with this. I think that Brian Daboll will definitely have a head coaching job this year coming up. I think that the growth that we've seen from Josh Allen, whether you can really say that Brian Daboll is the reason, like if he's the reason for Josh's growth, or if you're going to say that it was the guy that, I know he works with a couple coaches during the offseason. I know you can kind of blame it on whoever. Josh is growing. I think you're going to get one of those things where the league is going to say, oh, it's Brian Daboll. Like, he's the reason. Now, whether it is his reason or not, he's going to benefit from it. So the same way that Adam Gase is now out here, like, making millions off of the fact that Peyton Manning at one point was his quarterback. And I'm not saying Josh is on that level. It's not what I'm saying. But Brian Daboll is going to benefit off the growth that we've seen from 1 year to 1-3 in Josh Allen.
I'm going to tell you this. I don't even call it a bold prediction or whatever. But Bills is ready for a shootout. You saw that today. All right. At the OK Corral. You saw that today. Gunfight at the OK Corral. Josh Allen just outdueled the NFL MVP, if not one of the elite passers in the NFL today. All right. Now, with that being said, you might see a 500-yard game from Josh Allen. You might see a 500-yard game.
Now, Mook, now listen now. Wait a minute. Before I put this comment up. Come on, man. Don't be talking that talk. Like, don't be getting me all... I told you, today is one of those days already where I'm feeling kind of nice. So I'm excited about things.
Right.
Life is good.
The bar high then. We set the bar high. We chopping it up, right? Set the bar high, baby. Yeah, it's like your boy Daniel said, the first quarterback in the Super Bowl era to pass for 400, three touchdowns, no interceptions, and he ran for one. You know what I mean? He's the first quarterback in Bills history to do that. Nobody's ever done that.
Well, he's the first in NFL history to do it multiple games in one season. So, and that's what Daniel was saying there. Listen, Josh is playing lights out. And I get that, like, he had some games that were kind of not what they were. Like, the last couple weeks, he had games that didn't look like the first 4 weeks. I think it was more gameplay or it was what we wanted to do going into the game, basically. It wasn't the fact that Josh couldn't do what he wanted to do. I'm very happy with the offense. That has not been my one time this all year. You haven't heard me one time say, "No, Mook, our offense sucks." Not one time. The only complaint on offense that I've had is that our offensive line doesn't seem to really block for people. Other than that, you haven't heard anything. Our offense is there, man.
I think the team, you wait for that time. When did this team really gel? Today, I saw that. Maybe, if I mean, it's just hard for you not to go back to being passive after doing what you did against Seattle. It just don't make football sense.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't make football sense. You did this to Seattle, the number one offense in the league. And y'all just destroyed it like it wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? Jerry Hughes came out in that second half and put all rumors or all cliches to bed on how the Bills play in the third quarter, getting that strip sack. And, we almost had the blue, but at least they got 3 out of it. You know what I mean? That's when, they got a little foxy and, instead of just keeping the foot on the gas and just pound that damn thing in. You know what I mean? Pound it in. Josh out there, Diamond Boys, nice. Gabe Davis over the shoulder. He almost walked that in. And then you come back with plays like that. You know what I mean? Just pound that thing in, man. You know what I mean?
Man Josh Allen out there looking like a top quarterback in the league, my dude. Like he looking like a top quarterback in the league. Not the AFC.
Well, who is it? You got Mahomes, you got Lamar, you got Josh. You talk about young guns. We talk about the young guns. We ain't talking about the Breezes and the Bradys and the Rodgers. They're on their way out. So this new era.
Mm-hmm.
You throw Rocket Man in the sauce, man. He's definitely in the sauce. I mean,
Josh
did you see that dime? Did you see that dime he hit Beasley with? Everybody thought Beasley dropped it. I mean, come on, man.
And then you factor in the fact that he is probably, and I'm not. So first, let me show respect by saying that, Lamar Jackson is probably the most mobile quarterback we're going to see in the near future by any stretch of the imagination. But you add in there that Josh Allen is probably a top 3 as far as most dangerous quarterbacks, as far as, being mobile and coming out the backfield as opposed to just throwing. Josh Allen he's absolutely top 3. And if somebody were to debate that, I would think that they don't watch football, because Josh Allen is that dude. He might not look like Lamar Jackson doing it. He might not, it ain't going to be the Madden cover. Hopefully it will next year. No, I don't want Josh on the Madden cover because that Madden curse is for real. But you know what I mean? Josh he's for real, man. Like this year he's showing, yo, I'm here. What you going to do about it?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, you saw that click right after that Houston loss. I mean, on the sideline as the game was winding down, you saw it in his face. You saw like it click. You saw it in the locker room after the game. And then, like I said before, the guy has not took a day. I probably took a week or 2 off, but other than that, the man has been constantly working. He worked with Jordan Palmer, all season long. You know what I mean? He got quarantined with his quarterback coach at the right time. And then, you still got your quarterback's coach, and then you got Dable. So coming back for a third year, in the same scheme and system, and understanding how to move people in the system to help you, understanding, just coverages and within the scheme, everything is clicking at the right time. And, now we starting to see, yes. You had an opportunity to build. So you want Michael Vick or do you want Cam Newton? They went with the guy with the Cam Newton traits. All right. Didn't oppose to the guy that can run, And now you see it pays off. You know what I mean? I mean, those to me was the top 2 in the draft coming out. You know what I mean? I wanted Josh Allen over Allen because I wanted a quarterback with size. I was tired of having, these small quarterbacks. So I went 6'5". I'm taking the Cam Newton type. Michael Vick is just undeniably a monster. But I'm going to go with the 6'5", 240 that can move with a strong arm and develop that. And the Bills done an excellent job doing it.
So let me ask you this then. We got about 5.5 minutes left before we end the show this week. Next week, my Buffalo Bills, my hometown boys, is coming to my new hometown. And they're going to be out here in Arizona, out in or Glendale, so not too far from where I stay now. We're going to be facing the Cardinals. And at this point, man, it's a 5-3 team playing against a 7-2 team. What do you think are the key to victory or are the keys to victory against the Cardinals next week? And what's your outlook on the game? Do you think the Bills are going to win that one? Do you think it's something that we got to be worried about? What's your outlook for next week?
Well, hey, man, we ready for a shootout. You know
Let's
what I
do
mean?
it.
So I guess this was kind of like, you know, they got that air raid offense, so you got to be prepared to be in the shootout with them dudes. You got Kyler Murray, another guy that can beat you with his legs. He's kind of like a younger version of Russell Wilson, if you will, just faster. So the Bills got to prepare for that. I think you do the same. I think you still be aggressive and touch the young guy out. He's a rookie. You know what I mean? Give him some looks that he ain't never seen before. And I like how they were just dialing it up today. They got to continue to do that. There's no way for me to say I think they need to back off and because they got DeAndre Hopkins in them. No, hell no, we're not doing that again. Like this is the recipe. You gotta be. The fans want to see this. You see the results. I mean, when Tre'Davious White got that interception, it just looked like the
It
defense
was
of
big
old.
time.
You
It
know what
was
I'm
big
saying?
time. Yeah, it was big time.
Everybody was screaming, oh, it's about to be an interception because the pressure, first of all, the pressure got there. And then everybody was in their zone. And Tre'Davious just said, let me come and just get that. You know what I mean? So
Well, it looked like it was supposed to. You know what I
right.
mean? Like the way when you can tell when defense is playing well, when it's like, oh, the quarterback's about to make a mistake. You felt that this week. You know what I mean? So that's the problem that I've had this whole season. It hasn't felt like the defense has put the other team's offense in a position to make a mistake.
Right.
Today, it felt like that.
And that's what I asked Josh. I asked him, I was like, how fun was it to see just the defense out there flying around making plays? You know what I mean? And he loves the defense. He loves the defense because he gets the opportunity to get the ball back whenever they do that. He needs to keep doing that. And mind you, I was hoping I see Darren Lee today. Didn't see him. I was hoping to see Daryl Worley today. Didn't see him. These guys are on deck. You know what I mean? So Milano's on IR. All right. So I mean, you just got to be aggressive.
Well, here's the thing, Matt. We won't complain about AJ Klein if he plays like he does today. The reason why we were looking forward to seeing Darren Lee is because AJ Klein has been absolutely trash. But today, I feel like he was the AFC Player of the Week, Defensive Player of the Week. That's what he looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Honest to God.
Play him that way. Even when you put Lee in the lineup or Milano get back in the lineup, that's how you play AJ Klein. Don't have him trying to check nobody. Like one time I saw coming out of halftime, Seattle had the ball. They had Klein locked up on Lockett. I was like, how in the hell did Seattle get that matchup? Get rid of that immediately. I ain't see it no more. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody else caught wind of it like I did. But I'm like, how the hell they had Klein matched up with Lockett? No, we got to change that. But, keep Klein aggressive. Now he's got to be accounted for out there. You fall asleep, think he's going to be in coverage. No, he's rushing your quarterback right now. You know what I mean? Look, they made Russell Wilson very uncomfortable today. All right? And if you can make that guy that uncomfortable, I have never seen anybody this season make Russell Wilson that uncomfortable. All right. So the Bills got to be able to do that again. Like, you can't not do that next week after you just did this to Russell Wilson, and you're not going to do that to anybody else. I know it's a method to Coach Madness, but I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. If it ain't broke, we ain't gonna fix it. Just try to stop it.
Well, my big dog Joe Miller, he just asked the question. This is the last question for the day for us. He said, "How much did Edmonds returning to form help AJ Klein today?" I'll answer before I throw it to you. As the last question, I think it helped tremendously. I think that us seeing a healthy Edmonds, the first is going to do a couple things. The first thing is going to do that will help me and you on a weekly basis is going to stop, having fans feel like we should switch Edmonds to like a different position or, like we're going to be able to actually have conversations where it's like, okay, Edmonds is where he's supposed to be. So it's cool. But secondly, when he's healthy, man, and same thing when Milano's healthy, the effect or the impact that they have on the team is like, you can't understate it. So what do you think about, Edmonds being healthy today, like the impact that he had just being healthy as opposed to him trying to play through certain injuries in recent weeks?
Big differences, man, when you just play aggressive. You know what I mean? Guys play defense for one reason and one reason only, really, is to be aggressive. You know what I mean? Make the tackles. Go out there flying around. Like a lot of people who scared of contact. That's why they play offense.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to let your defense play defense. You know what I mean? And today they did. They was sending him stop a guy like Russell Wilson. Man, send guys right through those A gaps. You know what I mean? Send them, and that's what they was doing. You was seeing Tremaine, shooting them A gaps. You seen Klein shooting that A gap. You even saw a little more trust with the defensive front. I even saw Zimmer and Butler, doing twist stunts. They was trusting each other and relying on one another out there, and it was making plays. Jerry Hughes, like I said, has been the most consistent guy up front. 3 sacks. Even Mario Addison got one today, but Jerry's been consistent the past 3 games, getting the sack, getting after the quarterback. He did have one little hiccup with the personal foul. We know that's Jerry being Jerry. But other than that, he's going to give you, ultra dynamic plays, more often than not. So, you just got to make Tremaine's play aggressive. I think that injury is starting to, he's starting to, get back from the injury and stuff like that. And, like they say all the time, it's on the week to week. You know what I mean? Everything is on the week to week. It's on the week to week. Trust and believe, man. It's on the week to week, day by day. And, they're getting better slowly but surely. So it's a good way. It's a good win, to open up the third quarter of your season. And, you know what I mean? And, gets a big win because Seattle is not going to lose that many games this year. So when it comes down to tiebreakers and advantages, we definitely going to have an advantage on a lot of people in the NFL with this victory.
Well, so tonight, we got the Saints and the Saints and the Bucks going on. What do you think about that? And then we're out of here, man. What do you think the Saints gonna win, or you think the Bucks gonna win?
Bucks is gonna win. I wonder how they're gonna try and check AB today. How they're gonna play that? And I'm just gonna.
You think AB gonna be in shape? You think he's in game shape?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too.
And AB's a mutant.
No, I do too. People. I get the hate, and I get why people choose to hate on him, and I get the stupid things that he does that makes people say, oh, he's this and he's that. I get it all. That dude is a freak. It's ridiculous how much the talent that he has compared to your favorite wide receiver. He's still better. Exactly. Hopefully, if you have him on your fantasy team, hopefully you got him starting tonight, because Tom Brady is gonna look better tonight having Antonio Brown in his lineup.
Yeah, they ain't gonna do nothing but the same plays they ran in New England.
Yep, that's it.
Right now.
That's it. So listen, my man Mook, I appreciate you jumping in again, man, on the Chop Up this week. Why don't you let everybody know this week what you got going on or where they can find you, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, man, you can find me, at Power 96.5 Radio, Monday through Friday. We just wrapped up our show this Sunday. You can also hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Mookie Hawkins, Wolfo Sports, all day with your boy, just chopping it up.
All right, and you already know I'm your boy Jay Spence. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Jay Spence the King. Before I do go, I do want to give a shout out to your man Alex Trebek. Man, he was the GOAT of GOATs when it comes to game shows and really just hosting anything. And I posted earlier the term or the phrase or the acronym of GOAT gets tossed around a little bit more loosely than it should be. But when we're talking about Alex Trebek, I don't think anybody will debate that he's truly a GOAT for what he does and what he's done. So rest in peace to him. And it's a sad day. 2020 can hurry up and end. I'm gonna just say, yeah. we can hurry up and get to 21.
Yeah, we can hurry up and get to this COVID bowl. That's what we need to get to the COVID.
That's the fact. That's a fact. So listen, this week we're gonna have a good show on the Code of Conduct. I got my man Joe Miller joining me, as well as Bruce Nolan, the one and only Bruce Nolan. It's going to be a good week. Next week for the podcast, Bruce exclusive. Got my man joining me, and then next week I have the one and only Mark Maddox, former Bills player and former Cardinals player. He has a good perspective playing for both franchises at one point. So he's going to be joining me on the Code of Conduct next week as well. I don't know. I might reach out to Zoe and see if he want to jump in and join that conversation. So we'll see how that goes. But listen, we got some good stuff coming up on the Code of Conduct this week and next week. My man Mook is holding it down with WUFO and everywhere else that he's at because he's everywhere. So hey, thank you all for joining us. Do me a favor, hit that like button and share, retweet. Go Bills.
Buffalo Rumblings.
Let's go.